Would you kill one person to save many others?
Did you Google it?
Yes.
Okay, well, anyway. Alright. Well, okay, well, never mind. It's okay. Today, we are going to be talking about the trolley problem. What is the trolley problem now that you've... Well, actually, no, I'll just explain it regardless. Just stop reading whatever you're reading.
I mean, I closed the tab already. So.
Okay. So the trolley problem is a moral dilemma.
Right.
And it has multiple variations, but it essentially has to do with, would you trade something for something else, basically.
Right.
Is what it boils down to. Although I did not explain it very well. You know, the easiest way to explain it is by giving you the dilemma. Now, first of all, I'm not going to give you the original dilemma. There's the original dilemma and then there's the alternatives.
Alright.
So this is one of the alternatives that I've decided to give you first because it mentions that apparently the answer to this depends on your answers to the other one. So hopefully you haven't read the other ones. Okay. Which you probably have. Anyway, it's fine. So
I haven't.
Okay, so this alternative is called the man in the yard.
Okay.
Okay. So this is a problem. A trolley is hurtling down a track towards 5 people.
Right.
You can divert its path by colliding another trolley into it, but if you do, both will be derailed and go down a hill and into a yard where a man is sleeping in a hammock. He would be killed. Should you proceed?
Oh, so I have to make a choice. Either kill the man while he's sleeping or kill a group of people.
Yeah, the trolley is hurtling down the track towards 5 people. You can send another trolley down the track to crash into it, but then if that trolley crashes into the trolley, both will be derailed, go down into a hill, and crash into a man who's sleeping in a hammock, who would die. So do you do that?
I'd save the 5 people and let the man sleeping die.
So you'd send the trolley and derail it then,
Yes.
killing the sleeping man.
Yeah, I mean, when he dies, he dies in his sleep, so he doesn't feel pain. He won't feel anything. He won't
He was
suffer.
asleep. He doesn't feel pain.
He doesn't. No, he doesn't feel pain. He won't suffer, right? It's better than, I don't know, getting killed while you're awake. Like, oh no, I'm gonna die. Just die when you're.
I'm sure he would prefer to not die at all.
Yeah, but if I were to die, I would like it to be in my sleep when I don't know.
Okay.
Okay. So,
Okay.
what would you choose?
What would I choose? Alright, fine. That is part of this.
Alright.
Now, I would not do anything.
So you let the trolley kill the 5 people.
Yes.
Why?
I'll explain after I give you the original one.
Okay.
Okay. So here's the original dilemma.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's not the original. What?
Alright.
Well, I mean, I pretty much know what the dilemma is. Okay. So there's two tracks. There's 2 tracks.
Right.
Oh, I mean, one track splits into 2.
Right.
So the train is going down the track and it's going to go and it's going to switch onto the track that has 5 people tied to the track.
Okay.
If the train goes down that track, it will kill the 5 people.
Okay.
Alternatively, there's a lever in front of you, or a lever, maybe I should say. If you pull the lever, it will switch the track, and the train will go and hit the one person who's tied to the other track.
Right. Well, in this situation, depends really who the people are.
Well, suppose you don't know any of them. Wait. Why does it differ from the man in the yard?
Well, I knew the man in the yard was like, okay, well,
The man in how does
No,
it
the
differ
man in
from the
the
man in the
yard-
hammock?
No, okay, no. The five people were awake and aware of their surroundings, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the man was asleep.
Okay, right. I see.
That's why when you read, the man was asleep, so he doesn't know if he's dead.
Okay. I see where you're coming from then.
Yeah, and then plus it's only one loss rather than 5 people. So
Okay.
you know.
Okay, so then with this original one, the original one, both sets of people are alive, 5 or 1. You pull the lever, you kill one person. You leave it, 5 people die.
One person. Yeah, I'll kill the one guy.
So you pull the lever.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So I'd pull the lever.
All right. So I suppose now you want to know what I would do.
Yeah. You leave
Okay.
it alone.
I'd still leave it. Yeah.
Yeah, what is this?
All right. All right. Now I'll tell you why. And here's my dilemma as well.
All right.
I'm gonna give you 2 different Star Trek ideas. Okay.
Okay.
It's funny because we were talking about Star Trek before this started as well, but
That's true. Yeah.
I'm gonna give you 2 different ideas that both originate from Star Trek that are
I think I know one of them. I think I know one of
that
them.
advocate for both, basically.
All right. I think I know one of the dilemmas you're going to say.
Okay, which one do you think is the idea I'm first gonna talk about?
Is it the one where like I can't really remember it clearly, but I know it's something to do with like Captain Kirk,
Spock quote? You think it's a Spock quote?
Spock or Kirk or somewhere in that.
Okay,
yeah.
so I'll start with that. The Spock quote goes, "The needs of the many outweighs the needs of the few or the one." So that's the first idea. So, hello?
All right. Sorry.
Right. So that's the first idea. The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few or the one.
Right.
So, if you were to follow that logic, certainly you would argue that you should pull the lever and kill the one, right?
Yes.
But while I agree with the idea that the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few, the reason why I have trouble, why I don't think I would want to pull the lever is this. The Prime Directive applies, in my opinion.
Huh?
Okay, so do you know what the Prime Directive is?
No.
Okay, now you're watching Star Trek, and I know for a fact that you've watched episodes that have the Prime Directive involved.
Yes.
But maybe you don't know what the Prime Directive is.
I don't.
Okay, because the Prime Directive is a very uniquely Star Trek concept. So the Prime Directive is basically a rule of non-interventionism.
Okay.
So the idea is this. You cannot intervene in the affairs of others.
Okay.
Now, why? And I won't ask you, but basically the idea behind this rule is basically so that you don't determine things you have no right determining.
What?
The idea behind this rule is that you don't determine things that you don't have a right to determine.
Right.
So, like, I mean, the most simpler way of explaining it is the Prime Directive makes it so that you don't play God.
Oh.
You get what I
alright.
mean? Like,
Yeah,
like,
I get what you mean.
regardless of whether or not God exists, playing God is to determine things that are, it's things that are to do with fate and destiny. You intentionally intervening in those things, right?
Mhm.
So to me, and I know this is a very cold point of view, and a lot of Star Trek fans will actually dislike what I'm saying now, even though they
Right.
understand the Prime Directive, because a lot of Star Trek fans don't like the Prime Directive. But I personally understand the wisdom behind it and think it is very sound logic. Because, like, look, if the train track is going, and it's going to hit those 5 people, who am I to say, well, I stumble upon this lever and I can kill the one guy to save those 5 people? And to me personally, I feel it's not saving 5 people, it's killing 5, it's killing 1, to me.
It's not saving. I mean, it's also saving 5 people. You can't just.
I mean, it is saving 5 people, no doubt.
Okay, but if you don't do anything.
But
it's
if you
killing-
hadn't intervened, those 5 people would have been dead. You would have saved them, but at the cost of killing 1 person who you decided you would kill.
Alright.
You didn't decide to kill the 5 people.
No, yeah, okay, but you're there and you have a chance to save 5 people, and if you don't do anything, you would be killing those 5 people.
Sure, but that's fine. It's fine. No. I mean, it's fine. No, that's not what I meant. I mean, it's fine to save 5 people. I hadn't finished my sentence yet. It's fine to save 5 people if you're doing it without consequences. But the direct consequences of saving these 5 people is that you kill one person.
No, but okay. But if you stand there and do nothing, you'd be killing 5 people.
Okay, so that's what you believe, right? That's the school of.
What I believe. Yeah.
That's
if you do nothing, basically, if you do anything, you'd be killing someone.
So this.
That's it, 5 or 1 person. So, you know.
All right. So
I go for the minority to kill.
Okay, so the trolley problem is supposed to highlight the difference between 2 schools of ethical thought.
Right.
The 2 schools of thought are deontological and consequentialist
Alright.
school of thought. Okay, so a consequentialist is someone who agrees with what you just said. To not save 5 people, is equivalent ethically to killing 5 people.
Right.
The deontological school of thought would say that it would judge the morality of killing or saving 5 people depending on what is your intent, basically. Or how do I explain this better? Basically, you can saving. It's not to do with it's basically what I said. That's the deontological ethics. Deontological ethics is what I said. You can save 5 people, but if you save 5 people, you are going to kill 1 person, and you cannot kill 1 person because that's morally wrong. You basically treat the 5 people who will die as people who will die. That's 0, you know? And that's essentially what I'm saying. If we're going to represent it mathematically, let's say 5 people who are destined to die. Let's call that -1.
What?
Let's say 5 people who are going to die. Let's call that situation. Let's give that situation a value of -1.
Right.
Okay? So I can say that me killing a person. Sorry, not me killing a person. Sorry.
Are you okay?
No, that's a slip of the tongue. Freudian slip, perhaps.
Oh man.
So we can say saving those 5 people has a moral value of +1, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the situation is -1. You add a +1, so it's 0.
Right.
Okay, but then on top of that, you also killed a person, which has a value of -1. So in the end, you get -1. Wait, no. Is that what I mean?
I don't get it. What?
Yeah. So what I'm saying is, you can saving 5 people, right? is a good thing.
Right.
But not saving 5 people, you can argue is a neutral thing. Is what I'm saying.
Is a neutral thing.
Especially given the circumstances, yes.
Saving 5 people. You said saving 5 people is a good thing.
Is a neutral thing, given the circumstance.
Right, and then
because I think it depends on what to me the ethics of the situation is based on what I want to do, and what I want to do is save 5 people, but what I'm actively doing is killing someone. I'm condemning someone to death.
Right, but this can go on and on. If I
No, I mean, just say what you want to say. I'll just tell you if I disagree or agree or not.
I mean, okay. What did you say before? What did you say just now?
What I said just now was probably a bad way of explaining things. But basically what I'm saying is, like, you need not. Again, I'm gonna sound really cold and heartless about it, but it's 5 people. The 5 people, the train is going. It's on its way to kill them. Treat them as if they are dead. Okay, you are now going to resurrect 5 people, but you need to kill someone in the process. To me, that's not right. Those 5 people were going to die regardless of whatever you did. But now you're gonna do something and you're gonna kill one guy. That's how I see it.
Right. Okay, yeah.
And you could also argue that. Well, I'm not gonna say that now, but basically, yeah, what our difference of opinion now is to do with deontological and consequentialist ethical systems.
Yeah. I mean, but still, like.
Yeah.
Wait, I lost my train of thought. Okay. No, but you'd still be killing 5 people. You see, this is
no,
absurd.
but I'm saying it's not killing 5 people.
You're saying it's not killing.
Yeah, because to me, not killing
they're
5.
already dead.
Allowing 5 people to die is inaction, correct?
Yes.
I'm saying inaction is not equivalent to action. If you allow 5 people to die, that's not the same as killing 5 people.
Right.
To me, that's how I see it. It's the same as, for example, say a supervillain goes up to you and is like, okay, I'm gonna kill 6 people unless you kill 5 people. Now, if you were going to use the consequentialist thinking, you would say, okay, I save more people by actively killing people. But to me, and this may be a very idealistic way of thinking, I'm going to say, I don't want blood on my hands. I'm not going to kill 5 people. You know? If the supervillain wants to kill 6 people, that's him doing evil. That's not me doing evil by allowing him to do evil.
Okay, let's say no one is tied down to the rail.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's use your trolley thing, the trolley that goes down the rails. It's out of control. No one controls it.
Yeah.
No one caused it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you'd still go for the what was it? You'd still go for killing the majority, right? The 5 people.
No, I'd allow what is natural to take place.
Right, but man, okay. Starting to see.
Oh,
Okay,
so to me, it's kind of like saying, okay, this is another example, right? Say someone takes a random person hostage,
right.
and you're the richest man in the world,
Right.
and he decides to take some random person, some person you don't even know, hostage.
Okay.
And he's like, okay, unless you give me every single sense of your worth, your house, everything,
Right.
I will kill this person unless you give me everything you have.
Just a random person, no one.
It's some random person, yeah.
I wouldn't do that because I don't know the person.
Right, but then ethically that would mean that you are responsible for the person's death. But to me, the way I see it, I'm not responsible for the person's death. I merely allowed it. The person who's responsible for the death is the person who initially set up the situation, which is the villain that I hypothetically made up in this situation.
Yeah.
So to me, the ethical responsibility does not lie on me. Although if I can, I would save them if I wouldn't have to kill someone else. But I don't want to kill someone else, basically. But if I do have to, I don't think I'm ethically. The way I see it, I'm not ethically responsible for killing 5 people. I merely allowed it to happen, but someone else did it.
No, okay, but like, if you could stop something, let's say no one did anything, right, and something just went wrong. I don't know, a tree went down tumbling somewhere.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And you could do something about it and save 5 people, but killing one in the process. If you don't do it, the blame's still gonna be on you with killing the 5 people, because they can't blame the tree.
Sure.
You're gonna be the one that's gonna have to answer.
Okay. Yeah, but then say for example. Well,
Right.
yeah. Say for example, the only way for you to stop the tree from falling down is by shooting the person who is cutting down the tree, and he doesn't. The person is cutting down the tree, right? He doesn't know the tree is gonna fall on 5 people.
All right.
The only way to stop those 5 people from dying from the falling tree is to shoot the person who's cutting the tree.
All right. Okay. What if the tree falls down by itself? There are, like the tree was, I don't know.
Yeah, but to me, it's like, no, I'm not gonna shoot the person who's cutting down the tree.
No. Yeah.
If the tree's falling down by themselves, then by all means I'll save the 5 people if I don't need to spill blood to save them.
What if you do? You have to kill one guy to save. Like if you can I don't know, somehow in a way divert the tree's direction doing something, and that tree will go ahead and kill a guy, a random person, one guy instead of the 5 people you see the tree hurtling towards.
Yeah.
Right. So what would you do? Would you push it to the one guy, or
No. Well, I mean that's just the same as the trolley problem. I would not actively intervene to kill different people.
Right, but then you still be the one to blame
for allowing it to happen. I mean, you can't blame the tree, but maybe you can also say that no one is morally responsible for their deaths. I allowed it to happen, yes, but had I intervened, I would be directly responsible for someone else's death. I would have chosen for that person to die. I didn't choose 5 people to die. You know? Hello? We're gonna stop for a moment there. Alright, and we're back. So what did you hear me last say?
No, you were saying why it
No, okay, so basically to me, one person dying, I choose the one person to die. But the 5 people dying, I do not choose them to die. So I don't bear the ethical or moral responsibility of the 5 people dying.
No, but you do, because you could stop them.
Yes, but at the cost of something else that I would be directly causing.
Right, okay, fine.
To me, the wrong is in choosing for one person to die, and that is something that I should not have to choose. I have no right to choose.
No, but you could say, in a way, you'd be choosing as well, like, just the choice itself on saving them.
You could say that, but I'm not intervening with the environment. I'm not intervening with the natural environment. That's not to say the environment is choosing, but simply that's me allowing what is supposed to happen to happen.
Right. Fine. Okay. So you think that is that?
Yeah.
Okay. So.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
Do you have anything else to add in regards to my point of view, or?
Not really. Okay. I mean, I get where you're coming from.
Mm-hmm.
I get what you're trying to say.
And that's not to say, like, I would judge people for example, if someone was really in a trolley problem situation, I wouldn't judge a person for pulling a lever in that situation, because it's purely a personal thing. I'm saying I would feel personal responsibility for that death, whereas I would not feel personal responsibility for the death of the 5 people.
Right, yeah, but, like, in a situation, like, if you were actually in a trolley situation, and if you chose to sacrifice 5 people instead of 1, right? Like, more, like, people would know about it, and people would blame you for it regardless.
Well, then that's their prerogative, but to me personally, that's how I view it ethically.
That's how you view it.
Yeah, I mean, I could just as easily, if a person was in that situation and they chose to switch the tracks, I say, that one guy, you killed him. I could guilt trip him that way, but I don't see it that way.
Right.
I feel like the ethics are very personal.
Right, yeah.
Okay. And to me, it's similar to the thing, like I said, someone holds someone hostage, they say they're going to kill them unless you give up all your money. By using the same logic, you have to give up all your money, and if you don't give up your money, you are responsible for the death.
No, but I think that's like an entirely different thing, though. Like, that's like a question of, would you give up everything to save a random guy you wouldn't know? And the trolley problem is, like, would you sacrifice 1 guy or 5 people? Like, that's...
Yeah, well, and to me, killing one person is a very hard thing to do, similar to giving up everything you own.
I'm pretty sure if any of us were actually in the trolley situation, none of us would actually do anything because we
because we'd freeze. Yeah, I mean, at least I'm fortunate that my ethical considerations are similar to freezing.
Similar to freezing, yeah.
Yeah. So.
Oh God. Well.
Yeah. All right. So let me give you an alternative to the trolley problem. Something a bit more on the nose. It's also kind of a trolley problem, but it's an alternative. Now, let's say you're on top of a bridge.
Okay.
Okay. Below you is a train that is hurtling down the tracks towards 5 people that are tied up.
Okay.
But you're on the bridge. You look to your left. There's a fat man.
Okay.
You can throw the fat man off the bridge and into the path of the train, and that would stop the train, saving the 5 people, but killing obviously the fat man that you threw down the bridge.
Right.
Okay, what do you do?
How is that more on the nose? What?
Well, it's a bit more nitty gritty, you know? Like, before this you were just pulling a lever, now you're actually pushing someone to their death.
Alright,
So would you push the man to his death?
I mean, the guy's gonna die from, like, obesity.
Alright, no, don't think about that. Just think about that. Just this is another thing about the trolley problem. You cannot try to search for external solutions to it. You have to consider the ethics of the situation.
Right.
Let's say he's a fat person, but he will not die from obesity or whatever thing. You know, his lifespan is theoretically just as long as the people tied to the tracks.
Oh, gosh. So multiple fat people. Okay,
If that helps you, sure. I don't see how that changes the ethics of the situation, so you could think of it that way.
Well. I'm not sure.
You're not sure.
Because now I'm actually pushing a guy to his death rather than.
Logically, it's still the same.
I guess, yeah.
So you would push the man.
I would push the man.
You would push the fat man to his death.
I would push the fat man to his death.
Really?
Don't make this as hard as it already is. I love fat people, man. I am a fat person.
Okay, so you would push him.
I don't. Okay, yeah.
To his death.
Yes. I would push the fat man to his death.
Okay, and he's fat, and you're pushing him to his death. Alright, I'll stop. Alright, but you're gonna do it.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it.
Okay, well, I obviously wouldn't because we've already
Yeah, we've already missed it. Because this is actually sending a man to his death.
Okay.
What you could is push yours. You know what you could do is you jump down the rails on your set by yourself, so no one dies but you. So it's self-sacrifice. It's fine.
But you're not fat, and so you don't stop the train. So you end up committing suicide and killing the 5 people, and the fat man just claps.
At least the fat man lives.
The fat man is an innocent man.
Yeah, at least
and you've just given him entertainment.
He's just eating his Doritos, man, and I just pushed him down.
Okay. Here's another alternative. This one won't challenge you, but it will challenge me a little bit.
Okay.
Okay, same situation as the fat man situation.
Right.
But now, the fat man is in fact the person who tied the 5 people to the train tracks. Dun dun dun!
I killed the fat man, obviously.
Okay, so you would kill the fat man because he's the one who did it.
I still kill the fat man.
Okay, now this is a bit harder for me because I don't like the idea of vigilantism, obviously.
Alright,
Taking justice into my own hands. I don't feel comfortable with the idea.
Right.
But, with that being said, I think I would actually do this. I don't know if I'd be able to pull it off in real life because I'd be killing a person still.
I mean, obviously.
Regardless, I'm killing a person in real life, so I don't know in practice I'd be able to do it. But in theory, in theory, I think I'm okay with this one because he did it.
Yeah, because he did it.
So while it is vigilantism, it's punishment for attempted murder.
I guess. It's attempted murder.
of
It's not
5
punishable
people.
by death, but you can make it punishable by death.
Yeah, I don't know if attempted murder is punishable by death.
No,
It probably
okay.
isn't.
See, even if you don't push him down,
I
right?
oppose the death penalty in general.
I mean, I guess.
That's a conversation for another day, though.
It's a conversation for another day. Another episode of Bridge Constructor 2.
Okay, now believe it or not, we have reached our 30-minute. We've gone 30 minutes.
Oh,
So, today, why don't you summarize today?
what did I summarize today? Well, we've talked about killing people and how I would kill one guy and he would kill like 5 other people.
No, okay. And how how I don't see it as killing.
But it is you murderer.
It is you not quite a murderer. You allow people dire.
Outsider? What?
Allow people dire.
What?
Yeah, so today once more we've talked about philosophy.
Yes, we've been talking about that a lot.
Well, only twice.
That's a lot.
Now, I shall say, before we go, you can say whatever you want after this, but I will say that the trolley problem is the subject of a season 2 episode of The Good Place. If you haven't watched that, I also mentioned The Good Place the last time we did a philosophical topic. Watch The Good Place. That's my plug.
We're not getting any ad revenue from this.
No, we're not. We have no money. Okay, so any last words for you? Last closing statements?
It's better to kill one person than to kill 5.
Okay. And
Alright.
that's what he said.
Really?